Hey there, professor, look what I brought. Now tell me what's my rock. All right, I'm here with Ricki, and she's brought some rocks to look at. And may I ask what city you live in? Like what area?
I live in Colton.
Colton?
Yes.
Okay, great. There's some mines and some quarries down there, so there's a lot of interesting things down there. And let's see what you got here. Okay, so it's red. I see some crystals on here. And so tell me where'd you find it? I mean, you don't have to say exactly where, but
I think somewhere in Arizona, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, in Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
And you found it while you were hiking?
Yeah.
Okay. Northern Arizona, southern Arizona?
Like Needles area.
Needles. Okay. So you're down kind of near California, near where the Colorado River is. Okay. So you were just out hiking and you found it, and it looked interesting because it's got all these crystals here. So that's definitely interesting. Definitely would have caught my eye if I would have seen it as well. Okay. So first I'm going to use my hand lens here to look at some of the crystals. Okay, so what I'm seeing is a very clear crystal, very shiny. And I think this is probably going to be quartz crystals. And I think what you have here, this to me looks like actually, let me do a little test here. Got my scratcher here. I'm going to try to scratch. I can't scratch this side very well. I think this is probably a volcanic material on this side. I can see on this side there's these little blobs here that look like what we call phenocrysts, which are little crystals that form in a magma. So I think this is a piece of lava, and it got cracked. And what happened was that in the cracks, a lot of silicon dioxide or silica was deposited in these cracks, and it crystallized as this mineral we call quartz. And it's very common to get quartz in these little...
Actually, I don't know. I don't think that's it.
You don't think it is?
No,
okay.
I know that. I think that it's a crust of a meteorite.
You think it's a crust of a meteorite?
Yes.
Okay.
And when it hit the ground, the pressure and the heat, bam, or whatever, and then, form the crystals.
Okay, so you're saying that...
Those are diamond crystals.
These are diamond crystals?
Yes.
You think, so they would be made of
diamond crystals? I'm not too sure about that.
Okay, well, so diamond is made of carbon.
Okay.
Okay, and quartz is made of silicon and oxygen. Silicon, the element silicon.
I understand.
On the periodic table. So a diamond would have, the crystals would be these little pointy crystals that we call octahedra, which are these 8-sided figures. Do you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Okay, so in Dungeons and Dragons, there's a 8-sided die that is an octahedron. Anyway, so I didn't see any octahedra in there. What I saw were little crystals that look like they're hexagonal to me. But there's a great way to test all this. If you'd like, we can use what's called, this is an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer. And we're going to go ahead and zap this with this thing. It's going to tell us what elements are in there.
Oh, literally? Oh, really?
Yeah, it will.
That's nice.
Now, it can't tell us if there's carbon in there, but it can tell us if there's silicon in there. And so we'll zap it. And if there's silicon, then it's definitely quartz. So I think also maybe because you thought maybe this a meteorite hit because there's little chunks of rock here, right? Is that no? Is there any other reason?
Well, because
you see anything else?
Flat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where it hit. Like it hit like this. I was thinking, and it came off because I don't know. It just like look at it. I don't know, like the heat and the pressure. I was thinking because it looks flat right here, so it had to have hit like this hot because it's a rock. I'm not too sure how to say it, but
okay. So you think this thing is a meteorite? The whole rock is a meteorite?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's the crust of one.
It's the crust. So you think it was like a bigger space rock? It hit and it broke up into a bunch of bits, and that this was the crust. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so this is our X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, and it's going to tell us what elements are in these rocks, okay? So we're going to, first I'm going to take this rock, I'm going to put it right here. Like start. Okay, so now it's shooting X-rays, and it's going to tell us what's there. So the first thing that's coming out, a little bit of iron, a little bit of manganese,
Can I write this down? Can I write this down?
I'll let you take pictures of it when we're done, okay?
Okay.
Calcium, there's a lot of calcium.
What's
okay.
that mean?
That means that it's calcite. So this peak right here is for calcium. So this is what it's saying, that there's a lot of calcium in this rock.
So what's that mean?
That means it's not diamond. It means it's calcite. And I'll show you a little test that we can do to prove that, because calcite will fizz when we put acid on it. So I'm going to take this acid. This is hydrochloric acid. Calcite is a mineral, it has calcium and carbonate in it. So when we put acid on it, that carbonate is going to turn into carbon dioxide. And so when we put it on here, you should see nice fizz. Can you see the fizz in there?
Yeah, of
fizz
course.
right there?
Yeah.
Okay. You can even hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think there's more than one thing in there. So I think this white stuff around here, this is your calcite. The stuff here, there's some fizzing, but I think what you have is quartz and there's calcite in there. So there's this white.
Those are diamond crystals.
Well, but there's no here, let's look at a.
What's a diamond crystal have in them? Like.
Only carbon.
What's the red? That's in
the red stuff, in
right
my
here.
opinion, the red stuff is a.
I think it was a meteorite that came out from the outside of the meteorite belt, from not inside the meteorite belts.
Okay. Meteorites are typically not going to have these quartz crystals and these calcites that are going to be in them like this.
The calcite is probably from it sitting near water, and then the what do you say? The crystals can come in meteorites. If you look it up, they can form in meteorites. And the red probably is from Mars. I was thinking.
Well, Mars definitely is red, but there's also a lot of red rocks on Earth. There's a lot of volcanic rocks that are in that part of Arizona.
Volcanic rocks?
Yeah, this is all, the red stuff is volcanic rock.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it's volcanic rock.
Okay. Well, my opinion is that what you have is a volcanic rock that's been broken up by processes of erosion, and it was probably buried in the earth, and fluid came through there, and the fluid had calcium. When I say fluid, that means hydrogen H2O, and it came through there, and from the fluid, we got calcite, and we got maybe some quartz was precipitated. That's what this stuff is. I think you've got quartz and you've got calcite in here together. In the cracks of this volcanic rock. The volcanic rocks are very common in that part of Arizona. But if this were a meteorite, I'd expect to see things around the outside that look like it was burned or something.
Burned?
I think, I know you're convinced you have a meteorite, and that's okay.
It's the crust of the meteorite.
Okay, you think it's the crust of a meteorite? Okay, this looks to me, actually, it's like it is red because it has iron that's been oxidized. That's a very common thing in volcanic rocks. This looks to me like it is a oxidized rhyolite. We would call this a metamorphosed rhyolite, a metarhyolite. And what happened is it got cracked in any number of ways, and then it was buried. And then when it was buried, water and fluids got trapped in. It wasn't buried. Okay.
No.
Well, a lot of rocks that you see at the surface were buried. When I say buried, I mean 30 million years ago. I don't mean when you found it. I mean 30, 40 million years ago. Okay. So that's my opinion on that. So, all right. You don't sound convinced.
No, I'm not. But it's okay. No problem.
That's fine. That's okay.
Thank you, though.
All right. You got another one, huh?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is it related to this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Okay. And then this one. Okay. So this is a much heavier rock. This is very, very dense. So this one, and it's got a dark outer surface to it. And it's got a little bit of red on the outside, makes me think there's some iron in it. And it's got a really nice sort of blobby look to it. And this is unusual. So I can understand why you picked it up. I would have picked it up too. And the fact that it's extremely dense, and you probably read online that iron meteorites are very, very dense. That means they feel very heavy for how big they are, right? And that's definitely true for this. It feels like it's a chunk of metal or something, okay? Let's see, do we have a magnet over here? We got a magnet, and it looks like this is not gonna be magnetic. So if an iron meteorite should have a little bit of magnetism to it, because it's got iron in it. So we would expect that. So this one is not magnetic. This is some other material. Where did you find this one?
Arizona as well, actually.
Arizona out of
Yeah.
Needles? Okay, all right. Do you have, what were you, Needles, just on vacation in Needles?
Yes, I don't know. I just, sometimes things catch my eye, weird stuff, you know? Not weird, but like they're different, you know?
Right. So do you like, I mean, you like hiking? You like going outside?
Yeah.
Okay. But would you say you were hiking, or you just sort of hanging out?
Yeah, I was walking probably along the side of the road. Yeah,
okay.
something.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm going to hit it with the XRF. I'm going to see what elements. And what I'm looking for is if this were an iron meteorite or a chunk of an iron meteorite, it's going to have iron, mostly iron, but it's going to have a fair amount of nickel, which is extremely unusual to have in a rock, unless it's either an iron meteorite or it's some unusual rock on Earth, or there's a few other things on Earth you can do that, but nothing this heavy. This heavy, if there's iron and nickel, then I think I would suspect that to be a meteorite.
It's 4 pounds.
Yeah, it's very heavy. Okay, now we're running. Now this got a lot of iron.
Is that good?
So we're looking, it's got a lot of iron in it. Well, I mean, it's not good or bad. It just is. So I guess if you want this to be a meteorite, we're looking for a lot of nickel to go with that iron, right? Mm-hmm. And so far, I'm not seeing that nickel come in. Space doesn't send us pure rocks of just iron. It sends us a mixture of iron and nickel. If it's something heavy.
I have iron meteorites.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you get them?
I found them. I tell you, I found them on the side of the road.
Found on the side of the road?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, here's the thing. We call them iron meteorites.
Yeah.
That's sort of a popular term for them. And actually, scientists call them iron meteorites too. But it's more proper to call them iron nickel meteorites. That's really what they are. And they require nickel to be in there. And there's a reason for that.
And the nickel is the other color in the rock, right? Like the nickel is the color of like silverish in there.
Well, the truth is that nickel. Here, let me stop this here.
Or what?
Let me stop that. When you mix nickel, so it's basically 90% nickel with like 10% of iron in it, and it doesn't look that different from any stainless steel that you would see. It would just look like a metal. I don't think you could tell by eye looking at whether or not something is 100% iron or 90% iron.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's definitely true.
I don't know. I don't believe that to be true.
Okay, that's okay. I'm just here to give you an opinion. So it's not the opinion that I think you wanted. And I think what this is probably a piece of what we call slag. So people will try to make steel from iron ore.
Right.
And often what will happen is that we'll get a little chunk of this will remain. Maybe someone was experimenting. It's called smelting, right? So when you take iron ore, something that you get out of the ground, and you mix it with something like some carbon, which would be like burnt wood or charcoal or something, that will cause the iron ore to become iron metal, which then you can make, anything out of iron. That's what the whole Iron Age is built on, right? And so people do this out in the desert. They've done this out in the desert before. I mean, this could be an interesting artifact maybe historically or something. But in my opinion, this is not an iron meteorite because there's no nickel in it. It's just some sort of industrial byproduct of something in the.
And that's what you think?
That is my opinion. Don't feel bad because of all the time I've been doing this, I still haven't had anyone bring me something that has iron and nickel in it. We've had all kinds of heavy things come out of the desert. So.
Right.
Right. I could be wrong.
I got a few other rocks that are probably the ones you're looking for, but I just thought I'd bring those.
Sure.
And then I have this stuff I've been working on for a little bit of time. But I don't have no money to take to a refinery, so I do it all by hand.
Are these?
It's not like fully clean, but.
So these are. Is this a something that you got out of?
I just found it on the road.
Okay.
Just as well as everything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this looks like. This looks
just what it looks like.
This looks like mica.
It's not mica.
It's not mica?
Absolutely not mica.
Yeah? How did you...
I've had it. I mean, mica would turn wet black and green or anything some other color in nitric acid. and it does not turn any other color than nitric acid. It doesn't do nothing.
I'm not sure. It's sort of interesting. It kind of
And
it does look more like
actually,
glitter, but
there's powder. I mean, I don't know how. It's still dirty a little bit. I mean, I haven't cleaned it all the way because
where did you find it?
Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's very cool. Where did you find it?
I found it walking on the road one day.
Like what part in Arizona?
No.
In
Colton.
In Colton.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can we test it?
Sure, we can test it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do it up vertical like this. I'm just gonna do it.
I want to see.
Let's get a
I'm excited.
like this, and I'm gonna zap it. Let's see what we get. Okay, a lot of iron in there. Of course, that could be something. The problem is it's a mixture of materials, so there could be mica and there could be magnetite, which is an iron-rich mineral in there as well. Okay. Okay. Mostly potassium, silicon, titanium, a lot of iron. Yeah, this is some kind of a mica.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's been altered.
May I see that?
Sure.
This doesn't look like mica.
Well, but it looks like mica to me. No gold showed up in the XRF, right? I've seen mica that has kind of a little metallic, kind of goldish, hundreds of times in the field. So I know I've seen this before many times.
Mm-hmm.
In a hand lens, it has a flaky appearance to it.
It doesn't work very good.
It actually works very good. You
don't get it in. You can't see that too far into it.
I can. So
you can.
Yes. Also, I would just ask you this: if this were a bunch of gold on the side of the road in Colton, don't you think it would be unlikely that other people wouldn't have
Why would they have
gold?
seen it? It's dirt, and no one looks on the side of the road. Like, no one who looks on the side of the road in bushes. I mean, like, it sounds kind of crazy, but I mean,
I'm not aware of any gold mines in the Colton area.
It doesn't mean that they're not there, or it doesn't mean that gold's not there.
Technically, there are gold atoms everywhere. There's gold atoms in your body. There's gold atoms in my body. The question is it enough to be an ore material? And I'm not aware of any gold ore down near Colton or in the Haruba Mountains or
really.
I mean, that's correct. I mean, I'm not, but maybe you've discovered it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming by, Ricki. I wish I had better news for you. I think you wanted to have things that were a little more exciting than what I told you they were, but those are the opinions. I think you've got some iron slag. You've got a calcite quartz veins in a volcanic rock, and you've got some mica soil, basically. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
That's
Appreciate
cool.
it.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm here with Dylan. Dylan saw the whole thing. Dylan, what do you think? Let's talk about the first rock, the diamond rock.
The diamond rock. Okay, so definitely not diamond. It seemed to me, well, first of all, the base rock, I agree, volcanic, and most likely on the more kind of like felsic side. And the covering seemed much more like a precipitate of some sort. So we had that reaction with the calcium, with the HCl, so that'd be calcite. So I was definitely on board. And when I got a close look at it, it was like a very beautiful rock, but yeah, I agree with your assessment on that one.
Yeah.
So
quartz, it's basically like a variant of a geode, essentially is what it was. It was quartz crystals on the inside with a lot of calcite everywhere. Calcite was just everywhere. And, but
definitely not diamond. It was like
definitely not diamond.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to break her heart. I thought she was convinced she had a diamond meteorite. That would be a publishable discovery. A meteorite with diamonds in it. So, what about rock number two? The iron meteorite.
The iron meteorite. Again, with your analysis showing like little to no nickel, I have my doubts that would be it. I'm kind of thinking that in the balance that the niton was detecting, maybe some of that could have been carbon because the niton can't detect carbon. At which point, then that would be steel slag. So that'd be my opinion on that one. Is statistically more likely going to be slag. I've seen people come in asking about that stuff, and it's a very common mistake that people make when trying to identify meteorites.
I still don't understand who's making all this slag in the desert.
Yeah.
I don't understand who's out there.
Yeah, because that takes a tremendous like high temp.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slag out there in the world,
Yeah.
especially around here out in the Mojave.
Mhm.
All right, rock number 3, technically sort of more of a soil sample.
Yeah, that one was weird.
Yeah.
From the chemical analysis, I was leaning a little bit more towards, like, say, biotite, just with the potassium that's there and iron that was there.
Not a lot of magnesium, though, you'd expect for biotites.
Yeah, true. And aluminums, I didn't see the numbers, but that was low. So, in a way, though, like picking it up and handling it, I felt like maybe it was almost like an artificial like thing potentially too.
That's funny you say that. I was thinking about that. Kind of reminded me of like vermiculite. Kind of felt like a vermiculite, but I don't off the top of my head. I don't know the composition of vermiculite. I guess I could look this up.
Yeah.
Vermiculite. What's the composition of vermiculite?
Power of the internet.
Power of the internet. I hope it's an iron titanium silicate.
The power of Google tells us it is a mica hydrated magnesium iron aluminum trioctyl sheet silicate.
Okay, so magnesium. It's got magnesium and iron in it, but maybe this is an iron-rich end member in the vermiculite series. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
All right.
So
who knows?
Well,
I don't know.
Just our opinions.
That's right.
So
all right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I've seen it all. That's why they call me a professional. I know you're proud of what you got, but this rock ain't worth diddly squat. I'm not saying that you'll never be wealthy, but this preoccupation doesn't seem healthy. Don't give up your day job, you better keep it a hobby on the weekend.